Details about the biggest fentanyl bust in South Carolina history.
This happened in Richland County, not far from the University of South Carolina campus in Columbia. Law enforcement reports that they seized 156 pounds of fentanyl, enough to kill every single person in South Carolina 7 times over. Federal prosecutors say multiple agencies stopped a tractor trailer and another vehicle earlier this month in Lexington and Richland counties. Investigators believe the drugs came from Mexico and entered the United States through the southern border and into California. The DEA tells us some of those drugs were supposed to end up in other states, but a good portion was destined for South Carolina.
We continue to seize record amounts of fentanyl. This is just showcasing that fentanyl continues to flood our community. The poison continues to come into our community, harming our youth.
Prosecutors say 2 men from California were operating the tractor trailer. Each faces up to life in prison. Prosecutors say a third man who was in the country illegally is facing state charges.
Meanwhile,